everyone. We're going to do some translation, even though Paolo's English is better than very good English. I'm going to start by telling a story that I have seen you at a couple of film festivals, and you have been with Kenneth Branagh, who made Belfast. And these are very personal stories about really important experiences that shaped your lives. Kenneth waited 50 years to tell his story. You waited many decades to tell your story. I don't know if you've ever talked to Kenneth about why it took so long, but why did it take you so long? And what was the moment that you felt you were ready to tell this story that happened so long ago?
I spoke with Kenneth Branagh a few days ago about that, and he said the same thing, that it's important to be more experienced before doing movie like this, in order to avoid some traps that this kind of movie can give you, to be rhetorical, to be rhetorical, and to be too much focused on the pain, like the pain is a good thing. So it's better to do this movie when you have a distance from the facts, from these things of your life, and 55 years are enough. And then I turned 51 years ago, and I thought it was the right moment. I give great importance to the fact that I was 50 years old.
So your 50th birthday?
Yeah.
And that's when you felt it was the right time?
Yeah. When I did 50, it was like a birthday. I thought, okay, now it's the right moment to do this movie. Yeah.
How quickly did the memories come back? Were you able to write this quickly, or did it take a lot of time to think back to that period?
No, I remember very well my teenage. So, because many of these facts in my family were told many times, so it was easy for me to remember everything. And no, it was easy. I have good memories about my life. When I was from 0 to 20 years old, I remember everything. Then I have
I could imagine it's hard to forget. Let's just call it the hairbrush scene. That would be that hairbrush would stick in your memory, wouldn't it?
I am sure that you have another question.
I'm going to ask something else, because I think it's important that everybody understand Napoli as a soccer club in Maradona. I'm a Kings fan. Show of hands, how many Kings fans are LA Kings hockey fans in here? Okay. Napoli is the LA Kings. Years and years of mediocrity. This film is part of a tribute to your work. Do you think your work has a path? Was this on that path? Is it a divergence from this path? Do you think your work has a path? Or do you just kind of reinvent yourself every time you want to tell a story?
No, I don't think I have. Every year or 2 years, I find something that brings me out from the soccer matches that I see all the time. Sometimes it happens that there is something that I read or that somebody tells me that catches my interest. And no, but I have not about I simply find the story every year or every 2 years.
You have had a lot of women, a lot of beautiful women kind of at the edges of your film and near the center, but not always at the center. Is there a film that you want to tell with a woman at the center of the film?
If I want to do...
Yeah, will you do that at some point?
It's many years that I am trying to do about women, but I was not lucky. I did several scripts about women as main characters, and it's fault of the producers that said no.
I think everybody here wants to see that movie.
It's always fault of the producers.
I want to ask you about your cinematographer, Dario D'Antonio, and about what you talked about in terms of how this movie looks, and it's beautiful, and how she was going to shoot Naples as well.
No, we didn't. I just said I know Dario D'Antonio very well since many years. She's one of the first person I met when I started to do this job. We were very young, and so we know very well. We come from the same city and from similar families, similar experiences. So we don't need to talk too much. I just said her the same things that I told to the costume designer, to the production designer, to do a sort of step back through the costumes, the location, lights, to be naturalistic and to be not too much important, because in this movie the most important thing was the feelings of the characters. So everything is a little bit behind the feelings of the characters.
I want to ask you about the picnic scene, which is a beautiful scene, and all these crazy, wonderful characters. I guess my question is a little bit like, were those people actually like that? And that feels like something that doesn't happen anymore, that people are distracted by their phones, or they don't come together, they don't just sit down and talk for 2 hours and hang out. It feels like such a lost part, the family picnic. And I'm wondering if that felt like almost like a historical artifact to you to recreate that scene.
Yes, yes. No, I have to say that in the traditional, in the culture, we see this kind of lunch happen now as well. And yeah, what can I say? Many people believe that I exaggerated, but it's not true. They were real. They were as many people in Naples, they love to play, above all on Sunday when they are all together, and everybody tries to be a better actor than the others.
And the characters based on your brother, your sister, we don't see so much. Was she always in the bathroom getting ready for something, or?
No, no, the truth is that I don't know very well my sister, so I was not able to build a character of my sister. I know better my brother. And then in my memory when I was, because my sister is older than me, 13 years. So when I was a boy, my sister spent a lot of time in the bathroom in order to meet up, to meet the first boyfriends. And so I have a memory of her. Yeah, she was always very, she did yeah, on the side.
When you first,
she didn't consider us like good people. Me and her brother, my mother, my father. She was snobbish. Yeah.
when you showed this movie to your family, what were you most worried about?
With my sister, I was very worried because I told her before showing the movie, I told her that you are mostly in the bathroom. And I explained her that it's a good thing in the most important novels or movies, the character, that when everybody speaks about the character, but you don't see that character, it's a good thing. I mentioned Marlon Brando in Apocalypse Now. I was trying to uscire dalla pillola, come si dice.
Sweden, the pills are
Yeah.
used.
But it didn't work. She told me put me out from the bathroom.
I have one more question. We have time for some audience questions, but let me ask my last question, and that is, there's so much dialogue and conversation in this film, but there's also a lot of silence. There is rain, footsteps, a lot of time when people aren't speaking. That seems very intentional on your part to maybe balance all the conversation with silence and scenes that are not filled with dialogue. Could you talk a little bit about why that's important to you in this film?
It's simply that I remember very well the sound and the noise of my city and of my life. And because this movie has not music, or few music, of course
short, hollow note into a champion very quickly. So it's not just Maradona, it's what he did to the city, and the city is the team. If you remember back when he arrived, what that meant for the soccer team and how good it was, because Napoli was never considered a good team back then.
Yeah, no, the fact is that Maradona was not only a great football player, but it was very clear to us that in the city was arriving a guy with a great charisma, and that was able to use the sport like an art. This was very, very clear from the first moment, since the first moment. And so suddenly we had again a contact with an art, with a form of art that Maradona expressed. That's for me, that's the reason why Maradona is so important. It's not only something connected with the soccer, it's something connected with the form of art.
Were you ever able to talk to him about this film?
No, Maradona was like the president of the United States. It was impossible to join in. It was surrounded by many, many people that was sort of a wall between him and the world. So, no, but
What are the qualities you're looking for? Even if he's kind of rooted in your own life, you can kind of maybe make something different from him. What did you want in that actor? And how would you say he is like you, and how would you say he's different from you?
no, it was not important that he was like me, because it was important that he had some, because he wants to become a director, it was important that he was a good observer of the life. That's the only quality that I presume to have. That I am very good to observe the world, to observe the people. And he has this kind of look, gaze, and that was important. And then he is like many other teenagers, he is enough shy and ill at ease with the world, like I was when I was 18 years old. After the most important thing is that he is a good actor, and he was able to play a main character in a movie. Yeah.
It might be a little more complicated or personal when you're thinking about who's going to play his mother, because that is somebody who is not you, who is, based on your mother. Can you talk a little bit about casting that actor and seeing her in that role, wearing maybe the same sort of clothes that your mother had worn, and what that was like as a storyteller to see this actor inhabit this person that you knew so well?
My mother. No, the actress that played my mother, I know her since many, many years. We started together to do this job. She like actress, I like screenwriter at the beginning. So I knew her, and I know that she's pretty close to my mother, like characteristics. She's full of joy. She's very dynamic and always ready to laugh. And it was something that I remember about my mother. And so yes, she's a mother herself. It's important, and yes, she has a sort of
alongside Quincy. And obviously you weren't there, but you imagined what happened, and you imagined this very loving last moment that they have together, which is a beautiful piece of writing. And you write it, and then to watch these actors perform that scene and to be behind the camera. Do you remember that day and what it was like to have your parents exchange this last moment of joy and love, as you probably hoped and maybe they actually did in the real life?
Yeah, of course I was not there and I don't know what happened, but I like to think that happened that stuff that you see in the scene. And yes, of course I remember that day and when I shot, and it was, but it was the last, not, maybe it was the last day of shooting. So, no, not the last, because I decided to have like last day of shooting an happy day, not so sad. So it was the day before the last day of shooting. Last day of shooting is the beer, the bear.
Which I hope is a true story as well about those pranks.
The first pranks about the filet about the neighbor is absolutely true. It's exactly what happened many years ago. The prank of the bear is una collaborazione, come si dice?
I combined several things together.
The death of your parents had a profound impact on you as a person, I suspect as an artist. Do you think it affected your career choice? Would you be a filmmaker had they not died? Did it change the way you saw the world? How did it bring you to this point today, that tragedy that happened to your parents?
I think that the death of my parents influenced me a lot in order to decide to become a filmmaker, because when I was young and I lost my parents, I developed a sort of strong idea of revenge against everybody and against everything. And my revenge was to become a filmmaker. That was something of impossible in my city. For me, that I come from a very simple family without artists in my family, so yeah, it was important because I changed my idea of the life. I was always ready to make revenge against the life. Yes.
I've been in theaters where I've watched plays where I wanted to stand up and shout at the actors. And doing a Papiano, I suspect this is something that actually happened, and how important was this person to you in terms of believing in your destiny to tell stories?
This scene happened, and in the reality it's also funnier than that, because he stand up in front of a very famous actor in Italy, the theater Carmelo Bene. He was very, very famous and very, very full of rage, and in fact when he stand up and he said, cut to your monologue, he jumped from the stage against him and they fight.
They were fighting. So was that ever in your script, or was that just too much?
No, I changed it because there was an actress, so I did something different. And I did another scene of a fight about my family. So 2 scenes of fight was much. And yes, it happened. No, Caruana was very important for me because he helped me to understand, for me, an important thing that I found out, that the pain is not enough in order to become a writer, a filmmaker, or a musician, or whatever you want to become. The pain is not the passepartout to become anything, but it's important to find a voice, a style, to use the conflict like something that can improve you, and there are all things that Caruana explained to me when I was young.
He also believed in you, maybe at a time when you weren't sure you believed in yourself as a filmmaker. Is that right?
Ah, yes, yes. I don't believe in myself also now. Nothing changed. Because she realizes that the brother is gone. Yeah. Because as the father said at the beginning, she is able to understand everything staying in the back. It's like a joke, but it's real. It's true.
Right here. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Stand up and be heard.
You start the film showing us the story of the little monk, and you end the film showing us the little monk. What's the significance of the little monk?
What is the significance of the
Yeah,
little
Little Monk has many, many meanings in my city. For me, it's a sort of expression of the fantasy of the people when the people want run away from the reality. Many times they invented this figure of the little Monk. So the Little Monk for me is the expression of the fantasy. And this is the reason why a young boy that wants to become a director and the homes that as a sort of, I don't know how to say, madness, but yeah, craziness, they are the two people able to see the Little Monk. But in real life, I never saw him. My father saw the Little Monk.
Did you see him on the street or in a Fellini movie?
Excuse me.
Over here on the left, in the knit cap. I'd like these short, direct questions. Thank you. Go ahead.
Why did you choose to go to Rome?
Why did you choose to go to Rome and leave?
Because the movie business in Italy is in Rome. It's like LA. Like LA to make movies.
What was it like to go back to Naples and make this film? Was that a nice experience?
I was?
No, what was it like to go back?
Yes, just for the movie. It was wonderful, wonderful.
Look way toward the back. Oh, sort of the back. Okay, right there in the middle. Yes, you.
How do you go about constructing a scene? Oh, sorry. How do you go about constructing a scene? I feel like you use a lot of like tools, like visually.
In terms of framing,
In terms of framing, like what's your thought process?
how do you frame a scene? How do you compose a scene? What are the rules that you generally have?
I don't know. It's a question all the times, but I don't know. If I have a frame, I am able to do something of good. I don't know.
Do you storyboard? Do you have any pre-visualization?
No. At the beginning, the first movies I did the storyboard because I was scared to go on the set. Now, after the first 5-6 movies, I gave up the storyboard. I prefer to be influenced by the location where I am. But I don't know. If I have a frame, I started to see the images in a decent way. This movie was not easy because Naples is a city very, very chaotic. It's not easy to put things inside the frame.
Somebody stood up. You get the last question because we do have another movie coming up. So go ahead.
There's a wonderful interplay between collective history and personal history. I'm curious if, in your mind, one affects the other and gives it more weight and meaning.
Everybody hear the question? The difference between collective history and personal history. Okay, in Italian. One Italian question.
Una domanda, in questo bellissimo variegato, in questo molto variegato piano di emozioni, il fatto che nella scena centrale, anche per memorie personali, i dottori siano molto così, è stata una cosa che hai voluto inserire tu oppure veramente era questo momento così emotivo dei medici?
No,
The question is about the doctor's role and why was there in such an emotional film such a tough moment with the doctors as protagonists being such a firm stance?
No, it's exactly what happened when I went to the hospital. The doctors were not able to say the truth.
Any words you want to say about the next movie? All of your fans are watching.
Because the great beauty is
What should anything they should look
less
for?
painful than the last question.
How would you introduce Great Beauty?
What can I say? The Great Beauty is a movie about in the crazy idea of me and my scriptwriter, it's a movie about everything. So when people ask, what's the subject of the Great Beauty, is everything. And making the movie, of course, we found out that it's a movie about nothing.
Everybody, I'd like to ask everybody to take their seats until Paolo gets out because we have to get to another Q&A. How long is the break for Great Beauty?
10 minutes.
10-minute bathroom break. Thank you very much.
This movie in 35 millimeters. It's a movie of 2002.
Actually, it's a digital copy. It's not.
It's a digital copy. Oh my god.
Italy, brought to you with care and love.
Okay. but it's shot in 35 minutes. That's important.
The film won the Cannes Jury Prize.
The film won the Cannes.
Donatello that year.
Yes, yes. Many, Italian, all the other one. I didn't win. I win the actors, the production designer. I didn't win anything. Nemo profeta in patria, we say. How do you say in English?
No one is a prophet in their own land.
But it's okay. It's fun. It's fun. The movie is good. It's funny. It's sad. It's everything a movie should be. Yeah. So I hope you enjoy the movie, and he was very upset about the movie, and this was a great news because he usually was impassibile, come si dice? Impassible about everything, but about this movie he was not impassible. So this was the proof that the movie was pretty good. Okay, that's it. Enjoy the movie. Thank you very much.